Hey, 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 fam. And you know that I'm going to keep calling us fam because we are children of the one, created by the one, created by the one. Woo! I'm very tired um, and so alive and so full of joy. And so here I am. It's been a while. It's been a while since I have been here. It's been a while since I've had some solitude, just been on my own, and it's been even longer since I've been in this, my very favorite spot. This place, right here. This place bears my throne, and over there are the steps to my throne room. You can't see them because they are well hidden. And this place is also the space that was my private little baptismal pool with my love. One day, I don't know, it was a baptism, and it was also, well, it was baptism, which is like, when I experienced it in solitude and when I experienced it with uh with a whole audience, like a whole auditorium full of other people, um the experience was very much the same. It was like being one with my love, and he sat right there, just a little bit further down, right there. And the tide was gently just rolling in. I just sat there and it just gently rolled in, and it lapped at my legs as I was sitting with my legs crisscrossed applesauce, as the kiddos call it. And it was beautiful. And it was a part of that summer a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now, where I sat here and lay here in this spot in heaps of pain, like heaps of pain, processing a lot, and wrapped in a blanket right here, lying on these rocks, in heaps of pain. Just processing a lot about life and um, boundaries and rejection and love, and what all of that means in consideration of like my whole life, like all of it, from infancy to that point. And it was, wow, like when I tell you, like pain, like I felt, it is now scientifically proven that physical pain and emotional pain are experienced in the same part of the brain, and so our body experiences emotional pain just as it does physical pain. So do not discount your emotional pain. We are meant to feel pain because pain lets us know that something is wrong and that we need to take action. And so I took action. I was in therapy, did a ton of reading. I also went to see my doctor, so that we could help me manage, because I was like burnt out at that point. And do you know what burnout is? Burnout is what happens when we have been experiencing pain and not listening. It's usually emotional pain, mental and emotional pain, and not listening to our body say, hey, something's going on here. We need to address it. We numb. We numb by being busy, and we shut that down, and we don't believe that it could possibly be real, and we listen to all the shame speak around us that says, how dare you feel? Get it together. Suck it up, buttercup. You know? And then we end up with so many diseases with our body and soul in disorder. Wondering why? Because we weren't listening. We can feel all the same things. Our brains can work as they are, and we can learn how to be in the world as ourselves without the pain attached to being ourselves. Relational pain will always be there. And even that, maybe especially that, can also be experienced and processed for our good. All of it is for our good, and all of it is experienced and processed for our good if we allow it to be. And so right here in this place where my eagles, oh my gosh, like right down there, a few years ago there was like an eagle like right there, just like right there on the sand, like right there. Like I got so close to it, and it was so big. And then I've walked out to meet them and had them fly right over me. I have experienced a rainbow around the sun on a day when I needed it. And then I found out it's called a sun dog as I was reading about it right in the Bible. I was reading about God on a rainbow around the sun, and my love was just like, oh, hey, look up. And I looked up, and it was right there. And over there, see over there is where I think the eagles live. I think that's where they live. Anyway, the point is that in this place I learned so much. Sometimes listening to podcasts, sometimes just listening to God, sometimes listening to music, sometimes just lying here with tears, and sometimes being here with a friend, sometimes being here with my children, sometimes being here with my heart children, like all the children who are mine. Mostly was Harmy and Blake and Anna and Sakura, and oh my goodness, those other two kiddos who were here. I had them one day, just for a bit. I don't remember, 1 or 2 days. I don't remember their names now. Anyway, 2 awesome little kiddos who were playing with Sakura. And Max. I've been here with Max. I haven't yet been in this spot with Tika, because I haven't been to this side of the beach for a while. And today it said, hey, come see me. So I'm here. And in this spot, I just was. And God was just like, we processed a lot. And one of the things was, hey, share this beautiful space, because sharing you is what you do. You're happy when you share you. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And you are sharing yourself, taking care of yourself, and working. there are people who, as I was here taking care of myself and working in ways that many people do not understand, and that's okay. We don't have to understand everything. I know that there's so many people who brought their preconceived ideas and their unfortunate burden of shame to the space, but that was in their space. It was never in mine. And so I learned something that I want to share with you because I know of that. Because I know of that shame, which we don't recognize as shame. Brene Brown said, she once gave an example as I was listening to her. I don't remember if it was as I was reading a book, listening to her, listening to Atlas of the Heart, or listening to a podcast, or reading it in one of her books somewhere, but it was regarding envy. Envy is that thing that we feel when someone has something. I am not going to hit this spot on because I'm just like going from my memory and like what I absorbed of it. Okay, so I'm not being graded, and if I was being graded, no, whatever. Woo! Y'all know how I feel about the box. Anyway, so it was envy. Envy is that thing that we feel when someone, I guess, has something that we really want. And the thing is that we're so consumed with the idea of wanting it that we don't pause first to be grateful that we get to experience joy through someone else. Secondly, we don't pause because we don't pause to absorb that joy, we also miss the opportunity to open our minds to what we want and how to get what we want morally, ethically, and lovingly. And so envy, Brene Brown said, is that thing that pops up when we want something that someone else has because we recognize it as something that is very precious, and we focus on the lack instead of the possibility. And so I know that there have been people who don't recognize that what they're experiencing, and they try to bring shame to my joy because I'm here and not in a room behind a desk or on my knees scrubbing the floor or changing a dirty diaper, which I have also done in this spot. All of those things, except clearly being on my knees scrubbing, so much. I have learned to take care of myself, and I will absolutely, under no circumstances, under any circumstances, I was like, what did you just say? I will absolutely, under any circumstances, keep shame around. When I feel it, I now recognize it, and I hand it to God, and let God replace it with joy. When I feel envy, and I'm recognizing that whenever whenever I get really mad, whenever I get really, really, really mad, I usually check in with myself first. Now I'm learning to check in with myself first to see, hey, is that envy? Is that shame? Like, and like, not immediately, because sometimes like the trigger and the like survival mode kicks in, and it's just like, oh, what's going on? But yeah, I'm so glad that I can come back to this spot. And with the wagon, that was a gift to me from me a few years ago, maybe a year and a half ago now, because if I was going to live in the body in which I currently live, I needed something to carry all the things that I need as I am me. And I could no longer carry those things in my hands. And so I have a backpack now. It's a backpack that I found at MCC that is perfectly, I think I paid $12 for it. And I tried looking for the brand, and it turns out that it was some kind of, it seems to be something that was specifically made for a specific company. So it's like a company backpack. Like they made backpacks for their whatever. It's a really well made backpack, and it fits perfectly, and it sits beautifully on my back in perfect position. Like, I have never experienced a time where it feels unbalanced. And I have my mobile blanket making kit in there, and there's blanket in process. I have paperwork. I have these little things that we hold in our hands, all this mobile technology, and a tablet, a little fire that holds all my books and everything else, because I'd be carrying around so many books before. This is like all the books in one little place, which I will not dog ear and tear and abuse. Oh, they're not abused. They're not being abused. They're just being loved like the Velveteen Rabbit. Literally. That just came to me. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Sometimes I love books the way the boy loved his Velveteen Rabbit. They become real. Hey guys. And I love that. And so recently, I don't know, it's just musings of the day. There's like nothing particularly special that I wanted to share. I just wanted to share my time here with you because I'm taking care of myself and doing what I needed to do. And as I was coming along here with this blanket, with this wagon, I thought how often before, as a people pleaser, I had been willing to give my things away, including myself, without properly taking care of me. And recently I found myself offering this wagon, offering to loan it to someone who needs a wagon. And thankfully they said no, because I would have loaned it to them, because I wasn't thinking about how much I actually needed. But more than that, it was because I was trying to like soothe, like ruffled feathers. And I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this thing that I have done. No, I'm so glad that, and I've learned now, actually, I have now learned that I can say, oh, you know what? never mind. It's okay. I can't lend this to you again. I can do that now. In the past, I would not have been able to do that. I didn't know that I could do that. Like, it's not a skill that I had in the past. It would have been like, oh, I offered this thing, now I have to give it. Oh, I said I'd do this thing, now I have to do it. Nope. 1, we have the right to be wrong. 2, we have the right to change our mind. 3, we have the right to say no. 4, we have the right not to be expected to defend our no. I can explain my no. And now I know the difference between those two things. I can explain my no. I will not defend my no. And so, because it makes sense to me to explain a no, like that's communication, that's a relationship. If I'm saying no, it's just like, a person wants to understand, like, why are you saying no to this thing that matters to me? I'm just like, this is why I'm saying no. And I will not defend my no. Now I know that I can ask for what I want. And I can do that even with a feeling of nervousness. And recently, Dr. Vanessa, said a thing. She was just like, Brene Brown, in talking about emotion, said that nervousness and excitement are experienced the same. So I was just like, oh, that makes so much sense. Because usually I'm really only nervous about something about which I'm excited, and which is a little bit uncomfortable. Like, it's me stretching. So I have begun to reframe nervousness as excitement and not onboard it as fear. Because fear is something that I experience when I think that I will be harmed. And maybe I don't think I need to add to the idea of being harmed. It doesn't need to be irreparable harm. It just needs to be where I feel I will be harmed. And I think it may be harmed without the conscious knowledge that even if I am harmed, I can be healed. And it doesn't mean that there may not be there's a difference between fear and dread. I think there's that dread of, oh, I really wish this didn't have to happen. It is going to be so painful. Like, there's a different kind of knowing between fear and dread, I think. And those things are experienced intensely in our body. Think of Jesus going to the cross before he even went to the cross, in anticipation of what was to come. He was feeling so much dread attached to that he asked, if this really had to happen, is there really no other way? And in acknowledgement of the reality that there really was no other way but through, he went through. And I had a similar experience this week. I have been a part of an online moms group. It was a 3-week group, and with women from all around the world and all around Canada. It was so cool. Just probably 7 or 8 of us, maybe 13. There were 13 participants, including the facilitator, Dr. Vanessa. And so this week, this past Monday, things around me felt so stormy. And there's been a lot of that. It felt really stormy. And so I was just like, am I even going to go to group tonight? I just don't feel like I want to bring this energy. I don't know if I want to be around other people. I was like, yeah, you do, go. And I was just like, ugh. And I went. And I went because I knew it was going to be good, even if it didn't feel, even though I didn't feel like it might be good in that moment. I knew. So I went in and I said exactly how I was feeling. I feel stormy today. This is what's happening. This is what's happening in my life. I feel stormy. And then it was just like, oh, this is just by the end of the time, all our discussion, everything, And there was not a whole lot of time spent on the idea that I'm stormy, that I felt stormy. It was just like, oh, this is how I feel. It's like, oh, just to have that received as what it was. And by the end of the time together, it was just like, okay, the roundup check-in. I was just like, oh, what's your word now? I'm just like, sailing. I'm sailing. I am not stormy. I am sailing. And it's so beautiful to be in a group of people who are doing life, actively doing it, experiencing all the things, not pretending, and that all is like 100% well. And when I say that all is 100% well, that everything is peaches and like smiley all the time, or that it has to be, or that we have to shove those things away. I was just like, oh, I'm sailing. And like something that I saw in a very special place, it said, a calm sea never made a good sailor. And I was just like, oh God, this is so cool. I literally asked my friends to pray that I would have the kind of peace in my life, in my heart, that Jesus had when he was sleeping on that boat. And I have been experiencing that peace. And so right now, I can reframe what I'm feeling. I am not stormy. I am sailing. And I'm sailing like a fucking expert. Like a rock star sailor on these seas. And I know when to ask my crew to pitch in and how to do my work. We are each other's crew, Did you know that? We are each other's crew. And so feel free to tag me in when you need me. I'll be there in the way that I can be. Okay? Promise. I will be there in the way that I can be. And I will no longer try to be everything. That is no longer a part of my being. It's no longer a part of my life. I no longer try to be every resource. So when I say that I will be there as I can be, it means that I will never say to you that I cannot help. Never, ever. It will be, this is how I can help. This is what I can do. This is where I can be. I'm here for you. I love you so much. I love me so much. I love God so much. And they have taught me how to love. I'm still enjoying the lessons. Love you so much. Have a fabulous Thursday.